Thank you for joining us. I'm so happy.
Me too. I'm so excited.
Oh, me too. Somebody else connecting. Aloha, Mizu. Jessica. Yeah, nice. More people coming on board. We have lots of women that signed up and only one boy. which is good. Which is good. I mean, yeah. I definitely in all my students and clients, I have 2 men and the rest are all women. Even in my work. Yeah, I only have 2 are random. They're in California, so and one guy that comes every week. The rest are women.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's energetically what I attract more easily because it's my experience. I love working more with women, but I'm not a feminist. So we wanted to actually introduce ourselves first for the people that don't know us yet. But we wanted to give you actually the opportunity to introduce yourself too. So I don't know if you guys feel comfortable doing that. Like Tanya already told us that she actually doesn't have a mic. So if you want to just let us know where you're connecting from. And I want to invite you guys to set a little intention for this 45 minutes to an hour that we're going to spend together. And share it if you feel like it, to see why you guys decided to come into this free class today with us. If it's to learn more about healthy habits or how to get a little more clarity. If you're into nutrition, if you're into the magic potions that I make, whatever it is, that would help you set your own intention. I always do that. Every morning I do that. And we're going to talk about a little bit routines or setting an intention for your day in the morning. We definitely are going to talk about fight or flight, which is a big deal, especially in this last couple of years, is becoming more and more amped up, basically, for the collective situation that we have at the moment. We're gonna do a couple of cute, kind of cool exercises. Basically, we're gonna learn how to ground through meditation and energy clearing. Then Brooke is gonna explain you what she does, how she can help us, and then I want to introduce you the potion, of course, that actually was at the basis of all this. and if you guys got any question, curiosity, whatever, instead of having to book an extra call after, you can just type them in the chat box or just unmute yourself if you can and just ask us directly. Of course, we're gonna try to stay in the 45 minutes to 60 minutes so it doesn't get too long for us, for you guys, so we're gonna start. So my name is Simona. For the Brooke used to be one of my students, and we became friends, and we decided to collaborate and create amazing things together because it's just collaborations are totally my thing. Mizu in the public there, in the people that have joined, is another one of my clients and students. I'm a Theta healer, practitioner, and instructor, and I'm an alchemist. I like to call myself the good witch or alchemist because I love working with plants, and I work also with herbs and crystals and astrology. I love to, and I want to tell you a little bit later about like how we can use your natal chart to assess your constitution, which is going to help also Brooke to basically work on your like on a nutrition, mindful eating, and like it's not really creating like a diet, but she will explain more how to basically with your eat for your constitution, which the constitution is definitely like what you see, so the physical, but also the mind and the emotions. So yeah, I've been like, I actually became like a Theta Healing instructor only last year, but I've been practicing Theta Healing for almost 3 years now. I have been like a Reiki master for probably about 10 years now. And yeah, I'm all about like the arts of energy healing. So I'm getting ready some like fun gratitude and manifesting challenges for this year. I'm like creating a lot of like materials and a lot of stuff that I want to offer you guys to just help you transform and flourish. And this is my mission in this lifetime. This is exactly, and like, yeah. And every time I look at my birth chart, I can actually see more, and to confirm this, that definitely like I'm here, and especially to work with the feminine energy, to work with the mother collective, and just be like, I'm here as a guide to support and hold space and guide the people that wants to just like finally break through and create a good life, like a life that they're in love with. And fortunately, I love studying, so I have a ton of tools. Anyway, Brooke.
Yes. Hi, I'm Brooke. I'm a holistic health coach. I went into health. I started really getting into my health probably a little over 10 years ago when I had all these things that kept coming up that nobody could figure out was wrong in the Western medication world, which I'm not saying that's bad. Balance. So I started kind of going down this route of what can I do to internally better myself and emotionally better myself. And then eventually it led me just to doing my own personal research that led me to the school that I went to, that now I'm a holistic health coach, which I think is wonderful. But I knew it was so much more than just my nutrition, which is super important. Yeah. I needed someone that helped me with my emotions, and the things that I had been through, because they're all so deeply connected. So this year for me has really been getting myself out there so that I can start doing what I have experienced and help other people and guide them be able to find what I found through listening to my own body, and really taking charge of myself, and not letting the world tell me who I'm supposed to be and how I should eat. And so.
Absolutely. Finding that commitment with the self. For me it was I would say, I think we all go through different type of breakthrough. I don't like to call them awakening. It's a little too new agey and for me. But a lot of different breakthroughs, and which is wonderful. Of course, like most of the breakthroughs, actually, it's when we have the worst breakdown. And that's what opens up, really our conscious mind, our awareness, and we start learning more and more and more about ourselves. And the
gifts we have to offer the world.
I feel
like
absolutely.
Everybody has something.
And for me, definitely, it was like, I realized at some point that I was like keep suppressing my emotions, and I lived my life until probably mid-30s, totally like in this victim paradigm, and I was in denial. I couldn't accept it because I didn't want to show the shadow part of me, right? And I was always like people pleasing, and living my life like I had no clue what grounding was. Being present meant I was always like fight or flight. And this is something that I really want to talk about it because we both have had experiences on overcoming this fight or flight. And that is like, it's like it totally affects and creates specific limiting self-sabotaging programs in our subconscious mind. And that's why when we are in the fight or flight, it's impossible to stay present, to breathe, to become grounded and be clear. Your mind will never be clear if you're always living in this like fight or flight. Yeah. And there is a little part of this book that I want to just read to you guys because this is very, very important to know. When I started learning more about fight or flight, I had no clue what that was. Of course, I was young, but I also realized that whenever I would get into like more Zen spiritual practices of even reading sometimes or sitting in a meditation, taking a walk, I grew up in a small ranch. So for me, like hopping on my horse and going to the lake or to the river and just like sit there with my horse and thinking about nothing. It was just like amazing. It would bring so much relief from all the anxiety and all whatever, because like I used to get sick every other day basically. And this is also like important to know that what Brooke is going to explain you about the nutrition, about eating, because I had like a terrible diet. Like vegetables were definitely not something that I liked. And the funny part is like 20 years later, I've been vegetarian for a long time. And it's like, okay, look at the change, right? The transformation. But high stress early environments for children create problems in attention regulation and self-control, which often cause hyperactivity, anxiety, depression, and difficulties with inhibiting destructive impulses. Children who have who are abused early are flooded with the stress hormones, which are like adrenaline and cortisol, and they impact how the brain develops, and it affects the stress regulation system, which is our adrenals. And that's why we want to work on these hormones, balancing our hormones. And we can do it with food. We can do it with one of my potions that has specific herbs that targets our adrenals. And also like releasing and pulling specific programs that we have in our subconscious mind that we didn't necessarily have chosen, right? So they come with growing up, with abuses, with I don't know. Just for example, if you have grown up like watching very violent movies, you were so young, so little before, especially 9 or 10, that you were not able to distinguish reality from the movie. So your brain has absorbed all this violence, all these abuses that you were watching in a fake reality, which is like a movie or like a TV show, or like even if you were a witness of somebody being like physically abused or mentally and emotionally abused, that has created these receptors in your mind, in your subconscious mind, that gives the fires, those inputs, those blueprints of like, oh yeah, I've been abused. Whether it's like abandonment, whether it's being like, there are so many different ways of being like abused, right? So, and I am like, have been abused. I grew up like a lot of people. Like honestly, like I've never met anybody that could say like, oh, I had the best childhood, nothing else ever happened. I actually believed that until one day I started going into hypnotherapy and I was like, oh, actually my mom was beaten the heck out of me for a long time. And I was very little when it all started. I was like, oh, actually, that was a trauma. But, it took me a long time. And it's good that you guys are here, which it means like you have something, you recognize that there is something within you that you guys want to improve. And maybe you want to get to the root cause. One last little short paragraph. Research shows adults with histories, forgive me, of child abuse can respond to minor triggers with a range of catastrophic reactions. This is because these people become increasingly responsive to relatively minor stimuli as a result of decreased frontal lobe functioning, which is like problem solving and learning, and increased limbic system, which is the amygdala, the sensitivity, the impulsiveness. Well, this is one of my Teta Healing books that I love, and it's definitely like focused on working with healing abuse, trauma from abuse, whether it's physical or not. So when we are in the fight or flight, we lose our memory. And it's not a matter of like suppressing or repressing the memories themselves. It's like our brain doesn't function 100%. Therefore, we're not present. And don't you forget like what you did yesterday? To go. Sometimes I'm like, I don't remember what I did yesterday.
It's like me an hour ago sometimes.
OMG. Right? I was like, I love like in my mornings, right? In my morning routine, like Hannah and I wake up really early. Like my boyfriend and I wake up at 4:30 in the morning. And we do our own like morning routines, and then maybe we drink some coffee or coffee replacement. And when we drink our coffee, we have a little quick chat. And then it happens so many times that we're already like into like the going of the day, into taking actions and stuff, that when we talk at night, and I was like, we were talking about something super cool this morning, but what was that? And I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't know if it's because I'm getting older or what. Anyway, and that was just a funny story. But that it means like when we keep forgetting things, like being so distracted, it's because we're not grounded and we're not really present. And that's why it takes me to the next concept, which is like routines. And I think you started some routines as well, right?
Yeah.
Would you like to share? Yeah, some morning routines.
Yeah. So,
and I want to know also how you started feeling. In what way it has improved your life since you started applying some little routines?
Yeah.
Cool.
So, me and my husband got a juicer, which I was really excited about. I also heard that it was a lot to clean, which is something I hate doing dishes.
So, me too.
But I was
we
like,
have that in common too.
Yeah. But I was dead set on like, no, I'm going to juice. I'm going to clean it every morning. So we wanted to do just plain celery juice. And then we kind of done greens as well. We do all sorts of juices. Long story short, but every morning we juice our celery. And I actually find it very therapeutic to juice the celery, but to also clean it, which is really bizarre. Because,
clean the juice.
Yeah, but it's because I knew that I was doing that something for myself. And so it became less daunting of like doing dishes after cooking a long, dinner or something. I enjoyed prepping my juicer because it knew that meant I was going to be able to use it again tomorrow and that it's going to stay working well. Yeah. So it just kind of gave me a different outlook on how I take care of dishes.
No, I know. But hey, guys, I don't like to use the word hate on anything because it has such a dense energy, but I dislike doing dishes, for example. But when I started being like, every time I wash dishes now, I'm like, oh, I'm so grateful for having dishes to wash. Yeah. Because it means that I have food to eat. Mm-hmm. Thank you for the food. Thank you. I have money to buy healthy organic foods, or because I have the time and the space to grow my own foods. And I go on and on. And at the end, it's like, it's all done. It took me like a few minutes. So like, It was cool.
That's one of the big reasons. Like, I don't want anything to happen to this juicer because of what it's doing for me. I get to have these fresh organic, produce, and I get to put it into juice, and I like to drink something in the morning.
Yeah.
And it used to be coffee for me. It's not anymore for some health reasons. I wanted to switch it to greens, and I really wanted to test out if I could gain energy by just eating the things that gave you energy naturally, right? And you can. So I juice every morning.
Yeah.
So that's changed everything. It kind of we put music on, it livens up the house, it kind of wakes us all up. So I have a 3-year-old daughter as well. So she also gets involved. So it's super fun because she loves it. And she loves the cheers after. We all 3 cheers. Like we always cheers to something. So we always kind of like set an intention or
that's great.
Something we're grateful for.
Yeah.
And it comes in the form of cheering for our juice. And then getting up, and I need to be better at this, but this is something I've slowly been trying. I've always wanted to do like a yoga flow in the morning, kind of like a sun salutation, just some sort of body movement. But we go out we have this giant lanai or deck, and we can go out, and right before, you have to get up early enough, otherwise it gets too hot. So it kind of motivates you to get up a little bit earlier with the sun. And then all 3 of us will go out there, and Nora, my 3-year-old, will just play around. And we actually do a flow, and Austin does his own, my husband, and I do my own, just whatever I feel I need for my body. Sometimes we'll put one on and we'll follow something, but usually we just kind of listen to our bodies and just do what we feel like our bodies need that day.
And that's good.
Yeah. And then make the bed, get ready. Even days that I'm not leaving the house, I mean, getting ready isn't like a huge ordeal, but it is just.
Oh, yeah. That was a big thing for me when we got into COVID and I had to close the holistic center, and I started working from home and remotely, even with healing and consultations. And oh my goodness, like the first few months, I don't think I ever changed from my PJ.
Definitely
doing everything, like whether it was gardening, I did change a few times because in a while we were able to go to the beach just for swimming or walking, working out. You couldn't just lay at the beach or read your book, and I would just go across the street, walk like 3 hours basically back and forth to waste some time, and go swim, and then come home, come back. So that was my uniform was basically like either my bathing suit or my home clothes. And I don't think I brushed my hair for like a month or something like that. And I was like, okay, this ain't working out for me because I'm totally like, I need discipline. I need structure. And I have to be very honest, like when I started getting into these, like about 8-10 years ago, the word discipline scared the heck out of me because in Italy, and Mizu can confirm it, in Japan too, like discipline is seen like something like extremely serious. So, if you would like to, I'm going to give you a download about changing the meaning of the word discipline. So, okay, let's do this. I'm going to say the download, and I want you guys to close your eyes and feel that the energy of this download goes from the energy of creator, God, source, however you call it, goes into your crown chakra, and it flows all the way down into your entire body, all the way down to your toes. Okay. But you have to say yes if you want to receive the download. So I'm going to ask out loud if you want to receive the download, and then you, of course, you're muted, so we won't hear you, but I want to make sure that you guys give me your permission, because this is how actually Theta Healing works. We don't ever do or switch or teach anything from an energetic perspective without your permission. So close your eyes, and I want you guys to take a deep breath into your nose. Would you like to know Creator's perspective, definition, and highest truth on discipline? Yes, yes. And would you like to know what it feels like that it is possible and it is safe to have discipline in our daily life? Yes. Would you like to know that it's easy to implement more discipline and more structure in your daily life, following a routine with ease and grace and while having fun.
Yes.
Cool. You can open your eyes.
Weird, why not? Why not? I wanted it too.
Oh yeah, guys. Whenever I do,
I need that.
Oh yeah, I was downloading myself too. Don't worry. I find myself a lot of time when I have clients or students, even if I'm teaching classes, that I'm like, oh yeah, I feel that you need this download, and then when I'm there, I'm like channeling, like receiving the download for the person. I'm like, oh no, let me get it too. But let me. I want it to download myself with that as well. Anyway, yeah, for me routines anyway, little routines, a little discipline is just like also, especially the morning routine for me is like wake up, no phone, at least for an hour. If not, sometimes like lately, actually even 2 hours because I wake up, I want to like do my little workout. And for me, it can be Qigong, it can be yoga. I don't stress too much about it. It's not like I have mornings where I feel energetic and I'm good and I can do 1 hour. And there are mornings where like I just do like 15-20 minutes just to make sure that my body is stretched, and I feel better. And I love when it's nice, like 6:30, I'm already walking on the beach.
Yeah,
I'm like a few miles.
I'm not that early yet.
Oh yeah. Well, 6:30. I've been out for
my goal.
For 2 hours already.
Not that goal. Just 6:30.
Well, I don't have kids.
I'm not a morning person though. So it's helped me like become more of a morning person, and it's something I've always wanted because I'm a night owl.
Is anybody there connected that is a morning person? I want to see. Chat right into the chat. Please let us know if anybody is like trying to be.
Yeah, me too.
I try to be. Yeah. Well, okay, this is something like we don't have to force or obligate ourselves to do nothing really. Okay. But definitely like, I don't know, like I need 8 hours sleep. I love sleeping. It's my way of recovering and reintegrating, especially if I do teach or receive healing. I definitely need to integrate, right, and process this energy and release it. And that's the way I recover. It's by sleeping. So I know that I also like function the best. And that's something that we can also possibly figure out through your birth chart analysis in a program. I know that I function the best in the morning. So I love waking up early. And it's not a big deal for me. I just make sure that I go also to bed. Like the way we say it in Italy is like I go to bed with chickens. Like it's like chickens when it gets dark, they go to sleep.
They're on the clock, like you rise with the sun. You sleep.
Yeah, exactly. Like when the sun goes down, they go to sleep.
That's my goal.
Yeah, no, I don't go to bed at 5:30 or 6 anyway. But before 9:30, definitely I'm in bed.
Yeah.
So yeah, you don't have to like exaggerate and create like how do you say like how do you say I have the Italian word right now. Like it just like transform completely, like change it completely. Like that if you normally get up at 7, you have to get up at 4. No way. No, nobody asked you to do that. Definitely like if you want to introduce a little more of a routine or setting an intention, or like another thing that I love, like I work out and I love to sit there for like a good 10-15 minutes in my mornings, and I recite some mantras or affirmations for myself, and I do them every morning. I tend to do the same at least for a whole week, every morning, and sometimes I actually redo them at night right before going to bed. Affirmations are a really good way for me to start my day, and I do my gratitude practice. Gratitude practice, though, I do it as soon as I open my eyes. I'm still in bed sometimes. Before even I get out of bed. Yeah.
Me and Austin, we need to get better at doing it. But we were doing it for a very long time where we'd wake up, look at each other, and tell each other what we were grateful for before we left the bed every day. And I can tell you every day was better than the days we didn't do it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And honestly, like, I think when we introduce like a practice of appreciation and gratitude, it does help us to stay more grounded and more present. And it just totally sets the mood for the day. Every time, and I thank you, Creator, that I'm alive again. Thank you, Creator, that I'm like, I still live in paradise. And, you know, thank you, Creator, that I woke up again next to the love of my life. Thank you for my cat. Thank you for the roof of my head. Like, you can get very, very creative. And and by the way, on the 22nd of February, I'm going to have like a 22 days of gratitude challenge. Two. Yeah, of course. You know, I'm crazy about numbers. So 222, all these twos, and it's been a number that has been accompanying me for a long time. So
that's amazing.
The triple twos.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh, there are more. Okay, Jessica, you're more of a night person. Yeah, probably that's your creative mind works more in the evening. I have a lot of friends that are like more like artistic, and the creativity pops at night. You know, it's like, ooh, I can stay up till 3 in the morning and just creating and writing. It's when the brain works the best.
That's so. My husband, Austin, he is very opposite. He's a very much morning, and he's like, right when he wakes up, he's like, energy. And I'm like, give me some time.
That's me
to gather myself. But at night, he's like falling asleep. I'm like, hey, babe, I've got an idea. I've got this. And my mind's just like at night. And it's just when everything flows, I want to start either getting my hands on something or I'm writing something. But it's just
But like one of the night routine that I applied in my life that I really benefited from, it was like, even if I decide to stay up later or like in the weekend, like Hannah and I, for example, just love to enjoy like a movie or something like that.
Yeah.
And then maybe we got into conversating on the meaning of the metaphors of the movie.
Yeah.
Then we make sure that we take at least like 20 minutes, half an hour before we go to bed.
Yes. No screen time, right?
Exactly. No screen time. And I don't like at all like sleeping with the phones on in the bedroom. So we tend to like either no phones in the bedroom or like they're off.
Or turn the
charging.
Or turn the wireless.
Yeah, exactly. Like the Wi-Fi off, something like that. Yeah. Airplane mode, or because we don't realize, but actually in the program we're going to work on these two, like radiations, like releasing radiations from the body is something very important. And we actually nowadays with 5G and all these high hand progression technologies and stuff, we should definitely do it almost every day. If you guys have any question, please feel free to type them in the chat box, and we can assess them right away or even later if you want to. There is another little something that I want to do with you guys, and it's a cute little exercise, which is for energy, for cleansing our energy, which is something very, very important, especially for with a lot of like distance and disconnections we've been living in the last couple of years. I think we are all a little more sensitive on catching onto other people's feelings, emotions, the collective. There is a lot of like, there is a perpetuation of this like fight or flight that we were talking at the beginning, right? That it's like coming from all the media, all the news, right?
Friends and family members sometimes.
Because if we have a difference in opinion, and sometimes it becomes like I'm trying to manipulate you into fearing getting the vaccine or not getting the vaccine, or like, everybody has COVID right now, I better stay home and not get out of the house.
The new variants come out,
it was, there were so many things. It was like we were bombarded before, so now we're keep adding on and on and on and on and on. So we want to make sure that we protect our energies, whether you pick on other people very easily or not. There's still stuff that we already come with a lot of ancestral lineage baggages. So it's nice if we can kind of like not pick up on the collective fear. Fear doesn't help us at all. So yeah. Okay. There is a super quick exercise that I actually teach in Reiki 1 that I want to just do with you guys. And I cannot see it because nobody has the video on, but it's all good. It's super simple. And you can do it from standing or sitting down. It's all good. This also helps not only clearing the meridians, the main meridians of your energy, of your body, but also helps you thinking of what you're doing or the gesture that we're doing, so it helps us staying a little more grounded. So I like actually to do it when I'm sitting down with my fat feet. No, they're not fat. My feet flat on the floor or on the ground. And so you want to start with your right hand, and you inhale while putting your right hand on the left shoulder. So opposite hand, opposite shoulder. You inhale. It doesn't matter if your eyes are open or closed. And while you exhale, you want to go right on your heart and let it go. Like you really release it from your hip. And you are basically really dragging the energy. Like, when there is something like you have, I don't know, you've been hiking, you got dirt, right? You go this way, right? You really pat it off. So this is what we're doing. We're really dragging and kind of like cleansing the energy, and you really want to, like release it with the gestures, like gone away from me.
You're not part of
me. Exactly. There you go. And then we do it 3 times alternating. I usually do it alternated. So it's like, again, left hand, inhale on the right shoulder, inhale, and release it. And then you want to do it 2 more times, this side. And once you've done it 3 times on each side, you can also stop, or you can do it along your arm instead of going through your heart. So basically when we do this, like we go from, if you guys know the chakra system, you're like clearing your shoulder, which is the one that grabs all the worries and the responsibilities.
The weight on your shoulders, right?
Yeah, exactly. Totally. Yeah. So you're clearing your throat chakra area from your shoulders. You're kind of like grabbing it and pulling more from the heart and the hip area. It's the sacral chakra area. And you just like let it go. And then, you do it 3 times on each side. And you can also just like do this on your arm, along your arm, because our arms, actually, especially our hands, are the extension of our heart chakra. That's why most of the hands-on healing happens through the hands, right? So that's what you want to do is like, again, beginning from your shoulder, you want to just clear energetically and release any tension or anything that is kind of like stagnant around your arms, therefore your heart chakra. And same thing, you want to do it 3 times, alternating, 3 times each arm. And that is pretty cool, because while you're thinking like, breathe in, breathe out, release. And most of the time, if you want to keep your eyes closed, you can also imagine that this, whatever, you can imagine it, like you can visualize it as like a dark energy, like smoke, like dirt, whatever works for you, like even just like, I don't know, like a brown color, whatever works for you. You can visualize it as like a real emotion. You can give it a name. It's a person actually that right now is giving me a hard time. I'm getting triggered by this person. The trigger itself, you can just visualize that whatever it is getting released. I got released. It got released. Anyway, you can let it go. Okay. And that helps us staying a little bit more present. And there is another quick exercise. Actually, it's Teta Healing as well. So I want you guys to take a deep breath and close your eyes. Take another deep breath. Always make sure that your exhale is a little deeper and longer than your intake. And I want you guys to give you permission to clear all your soul fragments, allowing all the soul fragments belonging to any external source, like other people, situation, locations, are being pulled from your energy, cleansed, and returned to whoever or whatever they belong to. If you want this, say yes.
Yes.
And now we are calling back all the soul fragments that belong to us from whatever external situation or person they were attached to. We're now pulling them back and retrieving them after being cleared and cleansed. And we're doing this from any time, any dimension, any plane of existence, in between times, and from eternity. So our soul fragments are all cleared and returned so we can be whole again. If you want these, you can say yes. And I really want you to visualize that all these beautiful particles of you, of your being, of your energy are bright, and like little sparkles are coming back to you, are being reattached to your aura, to your body, so you can feel more whole again. And when you're done visualizing all this beautiful process of letting go and coming back, I just want you guys to open your eyes. Okay, I think I talked enough.
Whatever. Forever.
Now, I want to let you connect a little more with Brooke, because her work is amazing. And especially because I'm Italian and I love food, and eating mindfully is the best thing. When you're enjoying already your food and it makes you happier, it's amazing. Oh, Jessica, what is your question? Can you please explain more about the first part of the download you just did? About picking up on other people. So when you take on other people's emotions and feelings energetically, you are picking their parts of their souls, like fragments of their souls. At the same time, you're giving up your energy, giving them your physical energy, your energy, the parts of your soul, your souls. So what we did was basically sending away the fragments that do not belong to us anymore, that don't serve us, that they keep us like stagnant. And it can be from anybody. It can be from your pet. It can be from your partner. It can be from a stranger that you banged into at the supermarket. It can be anything. And of course, it's very helpful and useful when actually you've been like psychically attacked. And sometimes it happens not voluntarily, but from our families. So I hope I explained it well enough. In the program, we do a lot of like clearing, a lot of releasing. In the program, we work a lot in releasing resentment, regrets, and rejection, because those are okay. Cool, thank you. I'm happy you understood. But yeah, feel free, guys, to anytime type in your questions if you have any. Thank you, Jessica, for your question. Okay.
All right. So I actually made a few slides so that way, if I trip on my words speaking, you can still understand me.
No, actually, it was really helpful when she showed me the slides, because I was like, oh yeah, So let's share. Where is my... No, never mind. I was kidding.
Let's see.
I think I have to share the decks though. Yes, because they're right here. Here we go.
There
This
it
is
is.
the first one.
Okay,
Let's go a little bigger.
pull this up so I can see it.
Yeah. Can you guys see it? Yes.
All right, guys. So one thing that's super important when it comes to health is having a happy, healthy gut. I didn't know this until I learned this in school. I feel like a lot of people don't realize that your gut is your second brain. We have more neuronal cells in our gut than we do in our brain. So it's really important that we keep
I had no idea.
a happy gut. Otherwise, everything is going to be unhappy, including our minds. So also our gut is the organ with the most immune cells. So if you want to have a good immune system, make sure you feed your gut good.
Oh yeah, right.
You know,
that's really
so especially for kind of this time where everybody, there's unknowns. It's just good to be proactive and be preventative than to worry about in the flight mode where you're just constantly worrying if I go here, if I do this, this is going to happen. It lowers
our immune system too.
Yep, the worrying about it does alone. So instead, just being proactive and be like, you know what? I'm doing everything on my part that I can control in my space.
That's good.
And so,
good to know.
And you can feel a little bit lighter. So let's see. What's inside of our gut is our microbiome. I know that it's kind of a bigger thing now, so I think more people are hearing about the microbiome. What it is it's trillions of bacteria that lives on our body, but the majority of it is in the gut.
Okay.
And it's good and bad bacteria. So we have a little bit of everything, but it's like our own ecosystem, right? By what we feed it.
There is their own balance.
Yep. It's balance. Everything is about balance. Always, right? Always. So happy microbiome is a happy gut. So they are obviously hand in hand. So I guess I kind of skipped. The microbiome is the protector of the body. So kind of goes back into what you eat and even just your environment. It's not just the things you can control, what you eat, what you put on your skin, what you listen to, music, what you see, who you hang out with, the things that you're constantly intaking in all aspects will affect your microbiome.
Okay.
So your lifestyle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It makes me think of epigenetics, for example, right? That is like the studying of the environment, how it affects us. Mm-hmm. And so actually it affects our nutrition as well.
Yeah. Wow. So controlling, because obviously we can't always control where we live. So maybe like the air quality isn't the best, but what we can control is like maybe the air quality in our house or how much time we spend in better air quality, or even just aside from air quality, but what we eat, that's something we can control. So, I hope I say his name right. Dr.
Fasano, I think it was.
Fasano.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So he's actually one that studies the microbiome that I learned a lot was from him. And I really liked his analogy. He uses an analogy about a piano. So we have 23,000 genes. All of us are made up of 23,000 genes. That's a lot of genes. So there are infinite ways of genes that can be used. So infinite notes that can be played on this piano. And the piano player is your microbiome. So it determines what genes or keys are played. Now, let's see, so for instance, this is kind of something in my family that runs in my family is skin cancer. Different kinds. Both my grandmothers have had skin cancer removed. My mother has had skin cancer removed. My grandfather has, it might have actually been both my grandfathers. So it's very it runs in my family. And a lot of people would say, oh my gosh, like you're probably going to get skin cancer. And that's, you know, I think a self-limiting belief to begin with.
Yeah.
You know, so
yeah. Because I don't know, there are many things like, for example, diabetes, like high cholesterol, all this stuff. They say, and even cancer.
Yep.
They say it's genetic, it runs in the family, but in reality, it doesn't. It runs in the ancestral line belief programs.
Yes.
That's how we pass it, because we grow up like knowing that everybody in your family, or most, you know, a bigger part of your family has been going
diagnosed with it, right? Yeah. So this is what's super cool about it. It goes hand in hand, the microbiome. So maybe you do have that gene floating around because you have 23,000.
Yeah.
Now, depending on what you feed, like I said earlier, intake, it's not even just food, it's all intake that you take. Your pianist, the microbiome, is going to select certain genes. So if you're not feeding your microbiome and intaking the good things that you have control over, it might grab that gene down and make it your reality, because you've already also believed it's your reality.
Gotcha.
You know, but then you feed it and you make yourself unhealthy, and you kind of put yourself in that position to, you know, follow my family and have skin cancer.
Yeah, and it totally makes sense.
Yeah, or I could feed my microbiome really all the good stuff and know that this is something and be like, this is not my reality. And instead it's going to give me glowing skin. It's going to give me energy or strength, because it's going to be like, wow, I really like
more clarity of the mind.
I like the information you're feeding me.
Yeah.
So that's why the microbiome and having a happy gut is super important with your health. I think it begins there. And then the next one, and then should I put this in my body? And I'm going to open this.
Pretty cool too.
Open this so I can read it easier. I'll work on the eyesight thing. I've never had contacts or glasses, so I feel pretty good about it. I'm 33, so I made it this far. I'm the only one in the family. Once again, I didn't believe that I would need them. And also stretch marks. They're a huge thing in my family. And guess what? I got none. And my mom and my sister got them heavily, like really bad. And I got pretty big pregnant. I ended up having to have a cesarean, which they add even more fluids. And I didn't get one stretch mark because I decided that was not going to be my case.
That is something very important. Making the choice, committing to the self, learning, wanting to learn about ourselves, like bringing so much more like self-awareness. Like everybody talks about self-love nowadays.
Yep.
What the real thing is self-love?
Yeah.
Learning and understanding yourself.
And making the choice to commit to yourself.
Yeah.
When you learn things about yourself, commit to doing better things for yourself.
Yeah.
Because you are worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. So in this case, like deciding to put better foods in the body, look how many things it can benefit, right? Yeah. You know, the clarity, the physical body, the mind, the groundedness, the emotions.
Oh yeah,
totally.
When I started doing this and actually listening to my body and you know, kind of being aware of things that could cause disturbance in my microbiome and my gut and my health, I started getting more energy back. I stopped getting nauseous all the time over silly things that were unexplained, and really it was just what I was feeding my gut and my mind.
Yeah. So,
and one of the things I put on there, I know it's like a funny, you know, it's clean versus toxic, but you can see I put social media because social media can be very toxic to our health. Yes, it's another way of intake. And there's just so many false realities. Social media can be such a great thing. You can learn great things. Like, on there.
Yeah, I mean, I love them. I'm an Instagram fan mostly, not so much the rest. But I believe that everything, social media too, needs to be taken in in a good way that can benefit us for like learning, connecting.
Yep.
But
and knowing the difference between like
without exaggeration.
A false reality, because there's so many people out there, unfortunately, that are editing their bodies and doing different things and saying it's a certain like diet or way of eating, and it's not even real. Sometimes they've had plastic surgeries done, you know, and so don't get
all the filters
deceived.
today
Yeah,
and editing
just don't
programs. So,
don't compare yourself to anybody, because where you're at is exactly where you're supposed to be, and all you can do is control yourself and move forward.
Yeah,
And it doesn't matter the stage of anybody else, just you.
totally.
Because that's what's in your control.
Yeah, and actually, yeah, it totally goes hand in hand with resentment work, because sometimes we create resentment and just because we compare ourselves to others or become envious or jealous of other people. Yeah. Definitely not being grounded. It means like either projecting and living in the past from a survivor self in the past, or like projecting ourselves in the future into something that hasn't happened yet. And we're all like already like projecting. Anyway.
Yep. No, it's so true. So there's a list of things. When you guys meet with me, I'll actually go more in depth about explaining these things, like the processed food list. Like you can see there's processed, there's a little less processed, and then there's like real food in a bag. Like frozen fruit is still real food, and some people don't have access to all the fresh things that we're very lucky to honestly have here. And I know that from living in Utah that it wasn't always the case there. So it's always about putting more good in than bad, and being conscious of like what you're doing and what you're feeding your body, because it's not just food isn't just pleasure. It's really to like give us life. It gives us life.
It's as important as breath.
Yeah, it is. Right? So I have a little list of the clean versus toxic. So you can see obviously organic is always a little bit, organic's always better. But once again, we can get more into that another time, because organic isn't always, just because it's labeled organic doesn't always mean it's very organic.
I know.
So there's still always better options.
Yes.
But also I've traveled across all the states, including some of the plains states, and there wasn't like any organic options. There's some places you just don't have the options, and maybe you don't have time to grow your own food. So really
because organic is also like a matter of like politics / labeling, and it's like but I do have the tendency of picking something that is organic, or if it's not organic, I know the farmers that they don't use heavy pesticides, or they use more natural pesticides or stuff like that.
That's why, if you can, I know there's places in Utah and Logan actually that you can order like regularly. They home deliver produce. I think it might be weekly or bi-weekly, but they probably weekly. And so you can, I'll have to get the website, but there is a website you can actually look up.
Cool. Yeah, we have them here all the time. Yeah. Right? We have it all over the island. It's awesome.
There are places, sometimes you just have to know where to look. So that's something I would.
And you know, like the both of us, we love growing our own food. So it's like it's a guarantee. I know exactly what's happening.
It's therapeutic too. Once again, it's just something.
It's so grounding. Like, gardening. Oh, Miss Sue just got into gardening recently, and she's loving it.
Oh, really?
And she has a lot more time right now. And I'm like, good. That's so good. Yeah. It makes us grounded.
And even if you just start with like a couple little plants.
Yeah, totally.
Right? Grow some lettuce, and some kale, and some chard.
I talk to them.
I talk to them too. So does Austin.
There you go.
So just
inflammatory foods.
So this one's, I know, a hard one. It was actually really hard for me. I'm not saying, hey, you need to go vegan. I want to make that clear that when I talk about inflammatory foods, I'm not saying cut everything out, because I'm not about cutting things out. It's about listening to your body. Dairy, unfortunately, is extremely high. Yeah. Probably one of the worst inflammatories for your body. Yeah. So dairy, I would just say pay attention to how it's making you feel. And then also just having it in moderation.
Yeah. And also when, if you got into the one-on-one program, CloudLess Mind, we can figure out some stuff with the birth chart in the Constitution. And so we analyze, it's mostly Eastern herbalism and analysis of the chart. But anyway, we can figure out if your Constitution does good or not, or it's completely detrimental for you using specific foods. Like, for example, for me, dairy can be okay, of course, in balance, but it's better, for example, to go goat cheese.
Yeah,
goat cheese is lighter
options.
and it's healthier. And so when I have a craving for cheese, because guys, I'm Italian, so I do love cheese, then I try to get the goat cheese. Or like I have stuff, actually, I want to experiment making my own mozzarella.
Oh, well, I don't ever, cheese makes me really sick. Dairy does. And cheese is my favorite food.
See?
If you would have asked me, okay, let's see, 6-ish years ago, what my favorite food was, I would just tell you anything with cheese. So that was like something like, oh, I could never give up cheese. And that's something I actually hear a lot from people. I would never give up cheese. Oh, I can never give up ice cream. But that's a self-limiting belief. You can. If it's going to take your health, and I'm not saying, like I said, cut anything out, but sometimes it's good to pull back on something and see how you last for a little bit and slowly add it back in and see how you feel. Kind of cleanse yourself of it and then slowly add it back in and say, oh, wow, my stomach aches are coming back now every time I have this shake that I love. Oh, and then you can get to the root cause. So then when you have dairy, you'll know, I'm probably not, like for me, I don't hardly eat it, but when I do, unfortunately, I know I'm not going to feel very good if I have a little bit of cheese, but every once in a while, we have a cheese night.
I don't have any allergy or intolerance to dairy products, but for example, like cold dairy, give it to me, because I'm like gone to the bathroom right away, like ice cream or milk or stuff like that. But with certain cheese, I can still do it, but I saw like a huge difference in my body and the clarity of my mind when about 8 months ago, I went more on like, I took cheese, like dairy, completely out of my diet and carbs. Like I just kept some healthy carbs, like sweet potatoes and stuff like that. So I started eating more proteins, mostly vegetable proteins, but I felt so much better. And I'm not a sugar person, like I'm not a sweet tooth or anything like that. So usually I don't have sugar or sweet stuff too much in my house, too much around. A little piece of dark chocolate on my cycle once in a while, but not always. But yeah, sugar, carbs, dairy, when I cut them off, like I saw a huge difference.
You listened to your body and
I did.
Took the initiative.
But see, for example, one of the things that I had to listen to my body was like once in a while having to reintroduce some lean meat or some fish.
That's so
after 8 years of being vegetarian this year, I really felt that I had to go back to have some animal proteins. And I had to do a lot of like subconscious belief work on it, because I was totally like, no, I will never eat an animal, because I can feel what it felt, and it's being treated like I need to see there is energy and this and that. So I did some work on that.
That's amazing. Because I had a similar thing, probably close to the same time. I've been eating basically vegan for the past 6 years. And recently I started craving fish. I mean, we do live in Hawaii, but so I slowly me and my husband started getting fish tacos here and there and making them. And I started feeling better. So I don't know if it's the omegas or what, but there's something that I was definitely lacking. And so I just listened, and now I feel pretty good and I'm pulling back again. But that's just because I'm listening to my body. Yeah. So just because I eat a certain way, I would never want any of you or anybody I help to eat a certain way that is tailored to me, because each person is so different. So how do I get to the next?
I think it's right.
Perfect. The last one is kind of what we've been talking about, is living your healthiest life by learning to take your own advice.
Be your own doctor.
Yes. So I'm here to guide you to a place where you feel empowered to take your own health advice by listening to your body. So I hope because there's also going to be hurdles to overcome. I'm here to honestly to guide you and to be here through the process of kind of letting go and unlearning things that you've known your whole life to be true, and you're realizing that it doesn't work for you. I want eating real food while listening to your body and understanding how it makes you feel. So like I said, paying attention. A lot of people don't pay attention to how things make them feel. They just eat because of pleasure or because they have to eat to continue to cook.
There's a lot of emotional eating.
Right? And stressful eating.
That's why in Teta Healing, we call it releasing weight and not necessarily losing weight.
Yeah, I like that.
Because the subconscious mind, when you lose something, will do everything it can to go back to
keeping it.
Yeah,
because you've lost it.
You lost something. You lost a part of you, right?
Yeah.
So for the people that I work with, like my mother, for example, or my clients that are trying to find a better rhythm in their weight, a healthy weight, we usually we go through a big process of releasing the resentment.
I love that.
The guilt, the shame, the resentment, that is like what, and as soon as you take that away and you start releasing it and completing whatever lesson you have to learn in gaining weight and keeping that weight,
holding on to that negativity,
exactly, all stagnant emotions. And most of the people actually, you see it because they gain the weight around the belly, solar plexus and sacral chakra.
So on that, I'm actually going to tell you guys a quick little thing that happened in my life that goes hand in hand with that. I'm all about experience. I've had a lot of experience with this. I gained a bunch of weight in a handful of weeks. It was like a crazy amount that doctors couldn't figure out what was going on, and they could see something was happening. And I was so frustrated. I was going to the gym for over 2 hours and working my butt off and trying all the different diets, paleo, vegetarian, vegan, everything I could think of. I would just try it because I wanted to lose it so bad. And it was so frustrating. Nothing was happening.
Wow.
I came to a moment that I couldn't do it anymore. And I just let go of, I would spit my food out. Someone tried to shove a piece of pizza in my mouth and I would spit it out. That's not good. And so I finally came to a point that I'm like, I am unhappy. And the thing that's keeping me unhappy is trying to get to this happy state. So there's something wrong with the way I'm doing it. So I started hiking again and being outside, which is what I love. And we all honestly crave, but just being in nature. Yeah. And still eating, listening to my body more and not gorging, but not freaking out about what I put in my body every 5 seconds. And I lost everything. Yeah. And I went back because I had regular checkups for this thing I used to be on. And the doctor asked me, he's like, you lost a lot of weight. Is it okay if I ask how? And I was like, yes, please. I got happy. I got less stress. And I started living for myself. And the look on his face, I'll never forget. He was so shocked by he's like, whatever works for you, I guess. I was like, what do you mean? This can work for everybody.
On my emotional state.
Yeah. And honestly, I didn't even think about it. And you guys, everything I was carrying just melted because up here it melted away. And so it physically showed itself as melting away. So when I say these things, I've lived it, and I know that it's a good way to live your life and to be free and to not hold on to things.
Yeah, we definitely feel confident in guiding others into, in this case, is a journey in getting more clear, letting go more of the self-sabotaging, limiting thinking, and just start creating a life that we love, that we enjoy, that has more purpose, that because whenever we do something more mindfully, we put our heart into what we do, whether it's eating, which is nourishing the body, right? Yeah. Or start catching patterns and paradigms and programs that we have in our brain, or just even I don't know, implementing your nutrition with the supplements, which is the reason why we end up creating this beautiful program, CloudLess Mind, that has herbs and crystals that will help you to embody more of this clarity or being more present. We lived it. We lived it on our skin and bones. We lived it. We have experienced it, and and we know how to. We can totally guide you. We can totally support you. Yeah. Do you have anything else to add? I'm sorry. I interrupted you a gazillion times.
Nope. It's honestly, it's just, I've kind of gone over it. It just kind of breaks down if you guys want to look over.
Yeah.
Just listening to your body signals. There's so many other things that could be signaling, you know, like it's okay to eat. If you're hungry, give yourself permission to eat, right?
Sometimes I get hungry every 15 minutes.
Right?
No, I know.
I do have days that I feel like I'm constantly hungry, but my body's probably like needing something.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it's also good to listen to signals of when you're satisfied, when you're not gorgely full, but when you're comfortably where you should be, to listen to your body and be like, all right, I'm good. Guess what? I get to eat again a little bit later.
Yeah, even in Chinese medicine, actually, they say to always eat only 80%.
Yeah.
Full.
Yeah. That
always
makes
leave that 20% stomach empty.
Yeah.
Because it helps with digestion and
things can actually move around. Whereas if you bottle it up.
Yeah, because a lot of constitutions and I mean, I think it's human. Like, yeah, food, for example, in my constitution that I'm mostly Vata, and for you too, that you're mostly Vata, having little snacks, like food will help us stay grounded and present. But if I overeat, then I get sleepy and the clarity in my brain is like, poof, gone.
The motivation for the day.
I'm like, I want to take a nap.
Yep.
No, yeah.
So it's so true though. Other things that we'll go over if I get to meet with you, which I really hope I do, is cravings. So are you lacking something? You know, are you lacking a nutrients of some sort? It's kind of decoding, and I'll help you kind of learn how to hack your crave. Is it stress? Are you stress eating? Are you eating for pleasure? Or do you have an infection? I know this is personal, guys, but I have a problem with candida. And so with candida, or people know it as yeast infections, it feeds off of sugars and starches and grains and like no other. And so when I start to get something, oh my gosh, so bad. Brain fog for days.
Yeah.
And I feel so tired and sluggish and I get irritable.
Yeah. So it also brings usually very negative thoughts.
Yep.
That
bad dreams.
Bad dreams. That is like, why am I thinking of these? Like, where is it coming from?
Yep.
And it can be like either a worm, a parasite.
Yeah, parasites are another thing.
Energetically, that's what they do. Yeah. They change, our thoughts. People have come to me with parasites that they thought that they were possessed.
Oh, I believe it. Because there's literally something else living inside you,
and when you start like natural treatments, detox treatments, you think you're dying, and basically it's the parasite or the virus that is telling your subconscious mind, I'm dying, and you as a human being don't know what's going on with your mind and body, and it's like, I'm dying.
Yeah.
But actually, no, you're healing.
Yep, you're healing. Your body's doing what it's supposed to do.
Crazy.
It is. And another crazy thing is, like, a lot of people suffer from these things and don't even realize it, because sometimes you could have candida in the body so bad but not get it as a yeast infection and not know it.
Yeah, well, candida is one of those like bacteria that we need in the body.
Yeah, when it gets out of control.
But when it's like overgrowth,
So, and the parasites, a lot of people have them more than you realize. You can get them from everything. It's not just raw meat. It comes from all sorts of places. Unwashed veggies, animals,
eating at restaurants, whatever.
Yeah, cutting your foot, and there's something, all sorts of things, guys.
Yeah.
So it's not weird to have
on the mouth.
Yeah, so that kind of stuff. And it's true though. I do too. And it's not a fun thing, but it's not a bad thing. And it doesn't mean you're gross if something like that happens. And then the last thing is if your craving's an old habit. So are you somebody that always craves, your caffeine or sugar or pastries, and just decoding like, is this a craving of an old habit that I used to have that I broke or that I'm trying to break?
I have a question for you.
Okay. What's your question?
Since I've been eating less carbs, right? I'm Italian, so our culture has a lot of carbs. So Friday, I was like, I don't give a F to whatever, because my partner too has tendency of being more on a protein-based diet, right? Nutrition is, and he Like he eats one slice of pizza and he gained already 1 pound. Poor thing.
Oh.
Thank God it doesn't happen to me. But yeah. So I was like, sorry. I called him. I was like, sorry, babe. No matter what, I woke up with this craving for risotto and I made mushroom risotto. And I enjoyed it so much. Is that just because it's my comfort food? Was I probably stressed out?
It could be. Honestly, I think it would take like
I don't get as many cravings as I used to.
There's also something I think is important that everyone knows is that it's okay to also enjoy that risotto every once in a while, right? When it's like every day you're wanting it, or every like multiple times.
Like if I would eat pizza every day, then
you're like, oh, but I want pizza again. Oh, I want pizza. Yeah. Enjoy something that you love. Don't cut it out and stop enjoying, because you're also meant to enjoy life.
That's true.
And food is enjoyment. It brings people together. It is supposed to be pleasurable, but but not to the point that you're making yourself sick.
I think food is a love language.
Yes, it is. And another thing is, like, if you go to a birthday party and they have cake, and let's say you stopped eating sugar, but you really want to enjoy a piece of cake, somebody offers you something you don't usually eat, as long as you know it's not an allergen, it's not going to make you highly sick. Yeah, enjoy it. Like, don't stop yourself from living. Yeah. It's really about being mindful. Like, hey, is this going to make me sick eating this risotto once? No. Am I going to enjoy it? Yes.
Here we go. We're back. You can see us again. So, did you guys get any question that you want to ask us? Where we went a little over the hour. We're not too good at keeping it short, but we love talking and we love communicating and sharing. So I think it's all good. So the free masterclass was also to introduce you to this mentorship that we created that is called CloudLess Mind, where basically you will receive forgive me, link in the email that you subscribe for this one with. You're going to receive the replay. So if there is something that you have missed while we were chatting, you can watch it again. And it's going to come with a link, because for the people here today that were coming, they partake into the free masterclass, we are reserving a $400 off of the final price of the mentorship, which includes 8 sessions of 80 minutes of Teta Healing with me. And the whole mentorship is one-on-one. We do it online via Zoom, because at the moment is the easiest, and we want to really be able to support whomever from anywhere in the world. I have clients in Italy still, so it would be all live online, one-on-one. So it's totally tailored to you. And we always start with like the first session actually is like an analysis, a full-on report of your birth chart. So I can work out your constitution, your physical, mental, and emotional situation. And then, of course, like Brooke can do her own analysis for your best nutrition suggestion.
Yeah, I'll send you a health history that you'll fill out before I meet with you, and that way I kind of can gather where you're at, and we can tailor it individually to each person.
Yeah. So like in the whole mentorship, there is actually only 1 hour session with Brooke. But for whoever pays in full, actually there is an extra, I don't remember if it's 60 minutes or 90 minutes. I gotta check it out. So you can go a little more in depth and create more like a beautiful journey with her. Yeah. And especially, you can make the connection if you want to keep going with, taking care of your health. So 80-minute session with me, 60 minutes with her, another hour or 90 minutes with Brooke if you pay in full. And then there is like, we have available workbooks, like whether it's journaling or just homeworks. There will be homeworks because we want to see you very committed. And I know you will.
Want to see you succeed.
Yeah, exactly. And aside of affirmations / mantra, intentional, whatever you want to call it, that they're probably going to change weekly, that are going to support the whole work. Affirmations, homeworks / journaling, these are all crystal prescription, the potion, these are all tools that you have to add to your belt for this transformation. And if you guys are here today, it's amazing, because it means like your soul has called you to be here, and just even to learn more about it and join whenever you are ready. But definitely it's cool that there are also payment options that we have, like there are payment plans and stuff. But definitely if you decide that you feel called to join today, it's $400 off. It's very good.
Yes.
And I'm stoked that you guys are
And
here,
more.
because it means like you are really taking your baby steps towards a change, a growth, a transformation, so you can start flourishing and just really have the create and live a life that it's so meaningful for you.
Yeah.
Anything to add?
No, I mean, that was very well said. I honestly just thank you for coming and taking the time out of your day to listen to what we have to share, because I think what we have to share is very valuable and can honestly add to your lives. I know when I was her client, now she's more of my mentor. I can't tell you enough, really, how much she has helped me. That's why I'm sitting here with confidence, being able to do my part now. Is she helped me get to where I'm at? She did. So
yeah, it's amazing. And for my place, instead, when I was going through all my transformation, I had to do it all by myself. I didn't have, like, back then, especially when I started in Italy, like in Italy they started discovering yoga and mindfulness just a few years ago, right? And we've been doing it for 10, at least, like for me it's been at least like 10 to 12 years. So when you have to do it by yourself, it's really rough, because you got into those like moments of like immense confusion, that for real, finding clarity, finding the unless you're highly connected with your highest self already, which is not as common, then it's going to be tough to figure out what the steps are to just get better, to transform, and definitely like these, like also like the sessions can be you guys can book them at your own pace, and you have 4 months to complete the mentorship, right? So it means like you can come in session like once a week, every other week. For a month you're traveling or you're busy with something else, you can skip the sessions. So it's very like flexible for us and for you. But the part of being committed, it's really cool, because having somebody that answer all your questions, that will guide you, will hold your hands, and at the end you come out really, really transformed.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And it's so interesting, because when we become more aligned and more aware of ourselves, life starts creating, like we start manifesting everything that we wanted.
That's what I noticed, is all the things that I have ever wanted, or people, all these people that keep coming to my life that are like family that I already had, and I didn't know I was missing, and then I got them, and it's been happening left and right. And I came to you regularly for a long time. I was a very regular. I committed.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful that
I have another client, Vanessa, that she's been coming for probably a year and a half.
Yeah.
And she's like, it's totally worth spending this money, because in the meantime, she found herself, found her purpose, started like photography business, and now she's flourishing, and she became like a photographer, branding coach. And like, in this last year, I'm like, even myself shocked of looking at her transformation. But she was just committed. She started with like, okay, I gotta get rid of the shame and the guilt. I know I'm in a shitty place right now, and I'm sick and tired of being here. So I want somebody to help me. And I don't remember how exactly it happened. Somebody introduced each other, like with Vanessa, and boom. Yeah, it's been a year and a half, and every other week, her and I do work. We make sure that we have an hour, 90 minutes for ourselves, and we just do work. And sometimes it's just a matter of listening to you guys.
Yeah, it's about being heard.
Yeah,
sometimes you just need someone that is a good listener, that cares about you.
Yeah,
and is actually listening to you.
If you guys have any question, otherwise we're running so late. Well, you can bet you're gonna have fun. We both are very playful, and yeah. If you guys don't have any question, we're so grateful for you guys to be on board today and share some time with us and listen to what we have to say, to share our experiences and our beautiful desires for you guys. Yeah, because this is it. We're here on service to you guys. So thank you so much. Thank you, Tanya. Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming on.
Within maximum 48 hours, you will receive the replay and the link, so you can guys check out the price and see if you really resonate. And if you have even more question, and you can definitely book like a free consultation with either me or her or the both of us together. Like you can schedule a 30 minutes consultation. Oh, thank you. Thank you guys. We hope you enjoyed it and we had fun. We definitely had fun. Yes. We love you so much and we're really grateful. See you soon.